This program is supported by Kayam Churna. अब tablet और granules में भी उपलब्ध.
Hi, hello, welcome to Gazali. And today I've got this fascinating field to discuss about, which has taken over everything in this world today. Yes, I'm talking about AI. And today we have a guest who has come all the way from California. He's Sujai Chari. So welcome to the show. To talk about, he's a computational biologist, and he has earned his degree from Stanford. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
As I said earlier, like this is all about AI, which has taken over everything.
Yeah.
So basically, what is AI? What people have to know?
Right. So if you think back to, computers have been around for a long time. And traditionally, people are used to calculators or programming and things like that. But what I think we're seeing now with AI is almost the ability to do very complicated tasks in an automated way, and really kind of looking ahead to the future is potentially even being able to reason like humans would. Having a computer system being able to think and almost reason, and so we'll have to see how far we get. But at this point, you can already see in many applications, complicated tasks being done by AI, like for example with self-driving cars, for instance, right? There's a lot of information to process, and these machines are able to process that and do a pretty good job of that.
So I would specially mention to the audience that he's here. Sujay sir is here in regards to a guidance program organized by People's High School, which says what are my choices, and it's a really good initiative. Sir, what do you want to say about this initiative by People's School?
Yeah, I think when you look at education overall, a lot of times people say, oh, I'm just going to be a doctor or I'm going to be a lawyer, right? I think what this program will do is, what does it mean to be whatever occupation that you're interested in, right? So hopefully we can provide some perspective on, if you want to go into AI, for instance, what does that mean? What is your career going to look like? What kind of problems are you going to solve? So hopefully these kinds of discussions will make the students more informed, so that when they decide whatever path they're going to choose, they're basing it on what they know about it rather than maybe just some, oh, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer, right? So
the traditional way of going ahead.
Yeah.
So, but basically, see, whatever comes up, whatever technology comes up, new technology comes up, there are pros and cons.
Yes.
So, talking about AI, we have been made to understand that there are pros plus cons also about it. So, what do you say about it?
Yeah, I would say first on the pros. Even in my job, sometimes if I'm doing programming, for instance, I can use AI to maybe do something fast, like very quickly, some basic code. Or if I want to run the code very fast. There are some very basic things that the AI can do, almost even in a way faster than humans can. Now, like, as I mentioned earlier, the reasoning and those kinds of things, it's not there yet. And so that's where humans obviously add a lot more value. But I think in self-driving cars, right? I mean, if somebody is tired, they don't want to drive, if you have a self-driving capability. So there's a lot of basic functions we do in life that I think AI can make our lives easier. In terms of the cons, I think there's a few different things. One thing that I will talk about actually in the talk later today also is sometimes there's an over-reliance on AI, and I think we have to make sure that we as humans develop the foundational skills to do the thinking and all that. And what I see in some of the younger generation today is there's so many AI tools that they can do basic functions that they don't really understand the details of how they work. And that's really important, because you need to understand how they work, because that way you know what the strengths and weaknesses are. And so you know the limits of the AI, and then you as a human can build upon that. So you use AI for what it's capable of doing, but you don't rely on it for everything. Yeah.
So, do you think AI would bring people to a point of laziness somewhere? Like someday you may find people getting fed by AI.
Yeah, I think it's a big risk. I think one of the challenges we have is that, let's say there's a limit to the level of software an AI can do, right? And you cannot get a job in doing basic software because AI can already do it. I think one of the challenges we have as society is, how do you develop that expert software person if they can't get the basic job, right? So does that come from schooling, or what is the mechanism by which they can practice the basic skills, because AI is already doing that, in order to become an expert where they can do more than the AI?
So now that biggest fear of AI is that unemployment. How far is it hitting now?
I think that it's probably going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. And I think a lot of that has to do with we need to adjust and see what happens with the economy. Where are the new jobs going to be? And how do we train people to take advantage of that? So, but I think eventually we will find a place, just like, when cars first came about and technology always comes about. I think in this case, maybe perhaps what's unique is that there's a level of autonomy that AI has that maybe we didn't see with other technological advances in the past.
So another fear is like AI being used in crimes. So which is the biggest fear? Today we can say that we are fighting an unseen enemy, which is obviously behind the cam, behind technology. So what do you have to say about it?
Yeah. So I think there's definitely a concern, and we already see a lot of these so-called deep fake videos, people impersonating. And then, so that is a big problem. So I think there's two ways to sort of think about countering it. One is with, government policy, ethics, laws, all those kinds of things. We need to put more guardrails in place so that it disincentivizes people from doing those things. But the other part is we need to have good AI that can detect the bad AI, so to speak, and can help counter that.
It's like hitting an iron with an iron.
Right. Right.
Very correct.
Now, just like with, we have like people hacking computers and things, they tend to be one step ahead of us. So you have to be really, this good AI has to really keep up with whatever's happening. Yeah.
So now we'll come to your concern. It's computational biology. Yes. So it's all about, like when we say biology, it's all about vegetations, all these things. Is it animals? So
fundamentally, it could be plants, it could be animals, it could be humans. One of the primary things we look at is the DNA sequencing. So each of us has a genome which is comprised of all these bases, and it's units of information. And so there's so much information today that the computational biology is trying to process all that information. So for instance, how does your DNA maybe vary from the typical human DNA? And maybe if we see some difference, it's predictive of early detection of some disease or things like that. So there's so much data to process. So the whole field of computational biology is trying to make these findings in an efficient way.
So I was going through some videos maybe like few days back, in which I even heard about regenerating or some extinct animals through, I think, the same DNA processing.
So they're creating new cells and they're recreating these things. Yes, that is something. So the computational aspect would be to try to understand which genes might be meaningful, right? Which genes are not important, and when you're create a new organism, which genes are destructive. So there's a lot of that kind of computational analysis that goes.
So there will be a day when we will see the Jurassic animals back.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to go to that extreme, and I think that's where also you mentioned about bad AI. We have to decide what kind of laws we want to have in place, what's ethically acceptable, right? We as humans know what is good and what is bad. With AI, it doesn't automatically know that. We have to instill that in the AI algorithms.
So AI is about a technology, a software or something like that. So when we put it into a subject called biology, how does it actually mix up? How does it work?
Yeah. So when I talk to you about biology based on your schooling, you have a fundamental understanding of what biology is, right? So we have to somehow instill that understanding into an AI. So what that would involve is basically providing a lot of what's called training data. So you provide it with the knowledge. And now with the generative AI, it can do searches, Google searches and all that. It can kind of start to learn on its own. So you introduce a lot of the biology terms, and then it can, over time, accumulate the knowledge and then kind of build upon itself.
as we are talking about biology, there are other sections or sectors wherein, like you say, chemistry or other parts of it. Has AI cropped upon everything as yet, or still to go?
I think we're still in the early stages. I think the easier areas that are not so medical, because one of the issues, the challenges with anything medical related, is that there's an importance of interpretability. So in other words, it's not just getting an answer, it's why did you get that answer? Because you have to understand, right? What if it was just some sort of a coincidence, you got, right? That's a big risk, right? In some of the other, like entertainment, if you're trying to build a video game or something, if the AI somehow produces it, you don't really care why it did it or how it did it. It worked, it's fine, right? So that importance of interpretability in certain areas like medicine is going to make it, it's going to take longer to get to a point where it can make the impact maybe it has in other fields.
So today when we talk about AI, now that you have come all the way from California to India, Goa, so are there any specifications or courses or colleges close by, like, maybe like the students who would go to listen to you today, they want to pursue whatever you did, or sort of. So what are the courses, availability of the courses close by?
Yeah, so I think Python programming language is one of the commonly used ones. And then there's a lot of tools or libraries that can do a lot of the basic functions. So meaning you don't have to code everything up yourself. There are a lot of existing tools. And so if you're trying to build your own AI model, if you have this basic understanding of these tools, you already have a basic model, and then you build upon that model and you improve it. And so I think just having Python programming skills and then really just being able to explore and learn it's quite powerful. I will say, if you do want to understand the theory behind the details of how a model works, I think it's good to have a foundation in math and statistics and probability. Those kinds of things would be useful to have a foundation if you're interested in the details of how it works. Yeah.
So, nowadays, like maybe recently we have introduced, like actually in Goa, about coding and robotics. Is that the first step to AI, or it's way behind?
I think it's definitely one important application. I mean, robotics, yeah. So I think I think it also has components of physics. So I would say the robotics is a very challenging field, and it's actually a great way to understand AI, especially if you're interested in physics, right? So yeah, if you may bring your knowledge of physics and actually improve the AI that the robots can already do. So yes, I think that's a great application.
This generation, like Gen Z, that generation, and our generation, it's got a lot of difference. So how do you actually feel this gap between this generation to explain AI?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. When we had mobile phones for the first time, right? You had a generation that wasn't used to the phones. So I think you have to be able to convey the information in the language that people can understand. So just like when I talk about AI today, there's going to be people who don't really understand the math and the science behind things. So you have to be able to explain things in a way that humans can understand. So relate in that way. And so hopefully when they hear it in those terms, they don't look at it as something so mysterious, So you don't have to understand all the details, but the basic concepts.
And then slow and steadily you will grasp it and understand this.
It's not going to be overnight. It's going to be a gradual process.
Correct. Yeah. So what were the challenges you had to face, like in your field, like intersection of biology and AI?
Yeah, so I think the big challenge is that you have a lot of people who have a biology background, and you have a lot of people who have computer science and AI background. And so it's hard to find both of those in the same person. So what you have is you have teams of people that are able to communicate. It helps if the biologist understands a little bit of AI. It helps if the computer scientist understands a little bit of the biology, right? And it's our job in this larger team of transferring that knowledge. Because once you understand some of both domains, it really helps the advancement of the overall field. Yeah.
Similarly, what I said is, like, there would be some biologists who had their PhDs in those days, 80s, maybe 70s, 80s, and today you are here.
Right.
So what is the difference between these generations now, technologically?
Yeah, I would say that this generation can do accomplish a lot more quickly in terms of, because a lot of the tools that are available. On the flip side, I would say the people who got their PhDs a while back, I think they're used to thinking a little bit more. So going to back our earlier point about over-reliance on AI,
correct,
right?
correct.
So we have to find that balance where you can use a lot of the tools available today, but you still do your own thinking to understand what can I do that this tool is already not providing me.
So what is that near future of AI and humanity? When I say humanity, like it's more talked about losing jobs, I mean going into crimes, using it for bad things. It's always like people like to experiment on wrong things. Yeah. So how do you look at it at a near future?
Right. So I think it's I'll use an analogy like with calculators, right? When calculators came out, like people were like, okay, I don't have to do anything, and like it does a lot of it for me, right? So it's the next level thing, right? So okay, calculators can do some fundamental calculations, but then you're doing more complicated things using that. So it's the same kind of thing now. The AI can do a suite of functions, and you use that to do more complicated things. So you don't just look at it as, yes, it's replacing some basic things that humans are doing, but you look at it as how can you do your work even more efficiently and even deeper by using these tools that you have in place.
Now coming to the base again, your name Sujai Chari. So where are you from? Like India?
Yeah, so I was born in Bangalore,
Okay.
and my family immigrated to the U.S. when I was 10 years old. So yeah, then I grew up in the New York, New Jersey area, and then I went out to Stanford for graduate school, and I've been in the San Francisco Bay Area since then.
So you had this liking for biology since like maybe?
No, so actually my original degree is in electrical engineering, and I worked in communication systems.
So it's totally different,
yes,
world of difference.
Yeah, Wi-Fi and all that. And the whole Wi-Fi field and this has gotten very mature. So I was looking to make a transition to something different. And there's a lot of math, probability, statistics type things that overlaps between that field and this field. You wouldn't think about it, but luckily I knew some people in this field, and they knew me from before, and so they gave me this new opportunity. And so you asked about biology. I've been learning about biology kind of on the fly, while I've been contributing more on the algorithm side based on my previous background.
So by your name, Sujai Chari, I thought you are from Goa. So do you have any connection with Goa?
Yeah. So my wife, who was born in California, I met her, and her family is from Goa. So her mom, Sharath Kenny, actually attended the People's High School.
Okay.
And accomplished a lot, and she won all these math awards. So I'm sure a lot of people know about her. So yes, that's how that's my connection to Goa, and we've visited multiple times.
Okay.
And so we're really looking forward to our stay here this time as well.
So sort of, I can say you are the son-in-law of Goa.
Yes,
So
that's right. That's a fair description. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you must have often visited Goa. So what do you have to say about Goa?
Oh, it's like an escape. The tropical setting, it's very different even compared to other parts of India. And so the seafood is obviously out of this world. The fish is great. And so the people are really warm. So I've really enjoyed meeting my wife's extended family.
Okay.
And so we always have a great time, and the food is great.
So now when the kids looking at you through the cameras, and they look at you at a different level of experience as well as like AI, when it comes to AI, they feel the generation gone behind are like they are old. AI is that what they are into. What do you have to say to all these kids?
AI is really changing at such a fast pace. We're all going to be considered maybe outdated. Like you could be 1 year away from what you learned last year, and you're already outdated. So what you have to do is you have to keep learning. I think we all have to keep learning and evolving. So I think that's the one thing that I think AI is kind of putting pressure on us in society is you cannot get stagnant. But if you learn, I think you can do more and more powerful things and contribute more to society.
I think we have covered up most of the thing. We are running short of time, but still, what is that last bottom line you have to say about this visit to Goa, to People's High School, with this program here?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I'm really thankful to have this opportunity to speak to everybody here. Hopefully, I can make some small impact in getting people thinking about AI as a possibility. And even if someone doesn't go into the AI field, hopefully they get a window into what it might look like in the future and how it might affect their lives. And I think overall, as this program, I think it's great. As I mentioned earlier, I think thinking beyond the classroom in terms of practical impact in life, I think can really help people make more informed decisions about where they want to go with their careers.
So, talking about AI, I think it has got pros, it has got cons, and it's a big world. I mean, undefined world ahead. Only thing, as you said, sir, it has to be managed properly, balanced properly, and taking ahead this AI, we should be more of human first when getting involved into it. Thank you so much for being on the show. I think I have covered much of it, and rest of the things maybe you have lots to do. I thank you once again for giving me your time. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you. It was a great opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.